Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to Make It Happen with Mike C. I'm so glad that you decided to spend a little time with us. So I'm gonna bring you up to speed on where we're at and what's been going on. I have been dropping hints about something big that was going to happen in my last few videos. Well, it still hasn't happened yet, but I'm gonna at least tell you what that is right now. And what that is a radio show. I have been working on putting together my own radio show. Now, I had a radio show about 4 years ago, and it was pretty good. I enjoyed doing it. And I talked to a guy at a particular radio station. Actually, last year we talked about it. And then when I was back visiting, I wound up talking to this guy again about producing my own show for their particular radio station. So we're working on it, and it's something that I feel is going to happen because I'm working with good people over there to make this happen. So stay tuned, and I hope that you're looking forward to it as much as I am. And I hope that you will enjoy listening to that show as much as I will enjoy producing it. But let me tell you a little bit about the show itself. The name of the show is going to be Sunday Mornings with Minister Mike. In my talking to the brother about my program at his station, I was doing a little research, and actually in the process of that research, I was offered slots at other stations in different parts of the country. So I'm actually going to take them up, and I'm going to do that as well. But I really want to do this one particular show in this particular location that I'm speaking of. So stay tuned, and I'll keep you informed, let you know what's going on. It's gonna start out as a 1 hour show, and it will evolve into a 2 hour show. And of course, being on Sunday mornings, it is what can be considered a gospel show, gospel programming. But it's going to be what I hope is different from any other gospel show that you have listened to with what we're going to be providing. So stay tuned, and I'll tell you about that. The other thing is the webpage. Hold on. Sorry about that. This is the webpage. This is the front page of the Make It Happen with Mike C webpage. Now, I may change that because I also have a podcast, and the name of the webpage is the same as the podcast, Make It Happen with Mike C. And I may change both of those. And the name I'm looking at right now, and what you can do is you can let me know in the comments what you think about this name. But the name that I'm looking at is IET with Mike C. IET with Mike C. Hold on, let me get you some more music. This music, by the way, is what they call free, but it's actually not free. I have a paid membership where I'm allowed to use music on that particular site. There's some good stuff. I like it. I hope you're enjoying it too. But what I was talking about was IET with Mike C. IET stands for Information, Entertainment, and Truth. And that's what I'm looking to bring to you, not only in the radio show, but I'm going to definitely change the format of my podcast. As some of you know, I started a podcast, was it last year? Actually, it was like a year and a half ago. But last year the podcast got hacked. My webpage got hacked. So I was unable to produce a podcast for quite some time. And that time off gave me time to think about what I was doing. The podcast itself was dedicated to the music industry. It was dedicated to help anyone who wanted to be successful in the music business, since I was in the music business for over 30 years. And, I was a manager, I've done shows, I've run record labels, I've worked at major music distribution companies. And that was my Facebook site that just went off, Make It Happen with Mike C, on my iPad there. But so the podcast was dedicated to helping people who wanted to be successful in the music business. If there was an area that I did not know or did not know enough about, there are people in the industry that I do know. For example, publishing. I know something about publishing, but my man Manny Edwards, who used to be in charge of publishing on the West Coast for Universal Music Group, he knows publishing. So what I would do is I would call Manny, and I would interview Manny, and we would talk about that. I also just gave you a little bit of history about certain areas and certain things within the music industry. Like I did a podcast where I interviewed a guy by the name of Daryl Harper. They call him D Harp. D Harp was one of the first producers signed to Death Row Records. He actually did five songs. He produced 5 songs on Tupac's last album, Machiavelli. And he's done a whole lot of other stuff too. So I would interview him, and we just talked about his experiences in the music industry, because that helps people sometimes. So that was the podcast. So what I'm thinking about doing now is going from just strictly talking about the music industry to just dealing with a whole lot of things, like for example this plague that we're in right now. There's a lot of false information, put it that way. A lot of false information has been going out about this plague. So what I would do is I would talk about that, and I would introduce you to facts about it. The radio show that I used to have, I had a co-host, a brother by the name of Dave Brewer, one of my best friends. And what Dave and I prided ourselves in was finding the facts and delivering the facts to you. What we always said we wanted to do is we wanted to be able to get the facts and present them to you, so that when you went to the booth to vote, you were not guessing on anything. You were making an educated vote. So I want to do that with a lot of whole other things. I am a minister of the gospel, and within ministry, I am an evangelist. And I think a lot of people, even people in the church, a lot of people don't really understand our faith. And I want to be able to share that with you. I'm not the type of preacher who's a holy roller, beats you upside the head with the Bible. What I am is I consider myself a new wave, a new era preacher, meaning that I believe in every word of the Bible. But I believe that that has not been taught and taught appropriately. So I will share some stuff with you. And it won't just be coming from me. I will have pastors and ministers from different parts of the country who will share certain things with you about the gospel. Let me get you some more music. Hold on. So that's the information part of IET. The entertainment part, the E, is I will be featuring gospel Christian comedians from time to time. I will be introducing you to new artists and interviewing them, giving them an opportunity to talk to you about the music that they wrote, produced, that they sing, and the inspiration that came in that song, where it comes from exactly. That's the entertainment part. And then the third part is truth, and I've already gone over that somewhat. What I will pride myself in on the podcast as well as on the radio show, and the information that we'll provide on the webpage, we will pride ourselves in sharing with you truth. Okay? So if there's anything on there, we will have researched it thoroughly, and hopefully we'll be able to provide the sources of our resources with you as well. So you can go to that yourself and see where we got the facts that we present to you. So that's it. It's called IET with Mike C. Information, entertainment, and truth. And I'm hoping that you will enjoy it again, as well as I will enjoy producing it and making it happen for you. Now, I did want to talk a little bit about this plague. You know, they call it a pandemic, I call it a plague. And one thing I've been saying from the very beginning, and I want to share again, especially, you know, with my family, my friends, people that I care about and they care about me, y'all just be safe rather than sorry. I was watching television earlier today, and they were talking about how the state of Colorado is supposed to slowly be opening up. And but they had a barbershop that was opening in advance of when they were supposed to. And so they interviewed the young lady that was in there, and she was pretty much covered. You know, she had a mask on, she had gloves on, you know, she was very well covered. But the guy who was sitting in the chair, whose hair she was cutting, he didn't even have a mask on. And the guy asked him, "Why aren't you wearing a mask?" And what he said was, he said that he is not in danger. He is not part of the group, like, older people and people with asthma and stuff like that, who are more susceptible to getting the virus and having serious illness from it. He said he wasn't part of that group, so he felt comfortable being outside. And then the host of the show I was watching, what she said, everybody is susceptible. Whether you are elderly, whether you are, someone with vascular problems, everybody is susceptible, and that is true. You may not get it and die from it, but you may get it and pass it on to someone who does die. And that could be a member of your family or a close friend. Look, it's better to be safe than sorry. So I encourage all of you to continue to be safe. As for me, I'm not sure if I don't think I will be comfortable until there is some type of what do they call it? Vaccine for this virus. So I live by myself, and that's kind of good. My kids want me to come home, and I tell them, baby, this is the best place for me right now because I do live alone, and I am alone, and I don't have a lot of friends to say, no, you can't come by. Hold on, let me get your music again. So, as much as I miss my children and my grandchildren and my dad and, my brothers and sisters and everybody, friends, for right now, I feel that this is the best place for me. I'll be back to Sacramento soon. So, I look forward to seeing those that are there. Until then, let's talk. We can talk on the phone. Let's talk. We don't have to lose contact because we can't see one another. So let's not let this virus defeat us, man. Let's be victorious on this thing by doing the right thing. Thank you, man. And I look forward to producing the radio show, podcast, introducing you to a web page that is viable, that makes sense, that will provide some information, some entertainment, some commentary, all of that kind of stuff for you. So the radio show, the podcast, the vlog, I'm truly looking forward to the vlog. This is kind of like a test version of the vlog for me. Now look, I want you to know that the production of the vlog is going to get a lot better. Right now there's no graphics or anything. One of the things I'm working on is I'm working on my editing skills. And I'm getting better. So once I've gotten that down, you will see the difference in the production of the vlog. Like I said, we'll be introducing graphics. I'm going to have footage from my drone that I'm going to put together. It's going to be kind of interesting, So I know that if I have a web page, I think it was like 7 seconds to gain someone's interest. Otherwise, they leave, and most of the time they don't come back. And a lot of times when it comes to podcasting, when it comes to the radio show, it's going to be the same way. I'm going to have to do something, provide some information, content that will interest you, that will help you. So I look forward to that. And I hope that you look forward to joining us. Again, this is Mike C. I'll be back at you soon. Thank you.